My phone lit up with the words, "Money's tight. No Christmas this year." I believed them. I always believed them. But 3 days later, they posted a photo online. My parents smiling beside my sister in front of a glittering tree, champagne in hand, gifts stacked to the ceiling. They lied. So, I typed 5 simple words that detonated the truth. Money's tight.
Auto payments canceled.
32 missed calls later. Everything they'd been hiding finally came crashing down. If you've ever been the responsible one, the peacekeeper, the person people quietly drain until you're empty, hit that like button and subscribe. This is a story where loyalty gets tested, truth gets exposed, and justice isn't loud, but devastatingly precise. All right, let's dive in. My name is Morgan. I'm 35, and for most of my adulthood, I've carried a role I never auditioned for. The reliable daughter, the fixer, the silent bank, the person who gets told, "You're so good with money, honey," right before another financial burden gets dropped in my lap. My husband Daniel used to joke that I ran our family like a Fortune 500 company. Smart investments, balanced budget, no emotional risk-taking. What he didn't know back then was that my heart was the most mismanaged asset I had. I grew up in a house where fairness was a myth. My sister Rachel, 2 years older, was always the struggling one. The one who needed help with rent, with bills, with her kids, with car repairs, with everything. My parents would say it gently, like it was a fact of nature. "You know your sister has it harder." I heard that line so many times that it stopped being painful. It became background noise, like a broken fan you stop noticing. Meanwhile, I built a quiet habit that became a lifelong pattern, helping with their mortgage, their utilities, occasional medical bills. All automatic, all silent, all unacknowledged. Daniel would watch me check balances late at night and remind me, "You don't have to keep doing this. They should be okay on their own." I'd always reply the same way. They'd help me if I needed it. Deep down, even then, I wasn't sure that was true. A week before Christmas, Reno looked like a snow globe, glittering lights, cozy storefronts, families laughing. Meanwhile, I kept telling myself my parents' message was no big deal. Money's tight. No Christmas this year. I replied, "Okay, I understand." I wanted to believe it. I needed to believe it. That Saturday, Mom called. She was cheerful, chatty, warm. Not one hint of financial stress. She laughed when I told her Daniel burned the garlic bread again. We hung up and I felt reassured. I was ready to accept a quiet Christmas. Until Christmas Eve. Daniel and I were on the couch choosing a movie when I opened Facebook. And there it was. My parents. My sister. Matching sweaters. A towering, beautifully decorated Christmas tree. A table overflowing with gifts. Champagne bubbling in flutes. Candles glowing. The caption, "Best Christmas ever with family." My stomach dropped. It wasn't just a lie. It was exclusion dressed up in celebration. The comments gushed, "Beautiful family. So wholesome. Merry Christmas, Johnsons." It felt like the whole world was admiring a picture-perfect family, one that didn't include me. Daniel saw my face and walked over. He looked at the photo. His jaw tightened. "They said they couldn't afford Christmas," he whispered. I didn't rage. I didn't cry. A strange calm washed over me. I typed slowly. "Money's tight. Auto payments canceled starting tomorrow." The moment it posted, everything stopped. Minutes later, the entire photo vanished. Then my phone exploded. 32 missed calls. Voicemails full of panic. Daniel silenced the phone and said softly, "Good. It was time." For the first time in years, the quiet felt peaceful. The next morning, I woke up to a new post, this time from Rachel. A long, melodramatic paragraph calling me ungrateful, dramatic, a victim, a cold-hearted daughter. She never used my name. She didn't need to. Everyone knew who she meant. Relatives chimed in. "She's always been difficult. You should cut her off. She needs therapy." I read every comment. Not to hurt myself, but to understand. These people didn't know me. They only knew the version of me my family curated. I took screenshots. Every line. Every accusation. Daniel set a cup of coffee beside me and said, "Let them talk. Your truth doesn't depend on them." That was the moment something inside me finally unclenched. I opened the banking app, the shared account I'd been using to support them. Dozens of transactions. Years of financial lifelines they never acknowledged. I removed the account permanently. Then I wrote an email to my parents. Just one sentence. All financial support ends today. Take care.
No explanation. No apology. No justification.
When I pressed send, my hands didn't shake. Breakfast that morning tasted different.
Light. Free.
2 weeks later, the peace shattered. My mom sent a message. "Things have been tense. Can you please help with the mortgage one last time? Rachel is having a hard month." There was no mention of the Christmas lie, the social media harassment, the years I had carried them. It wasn't an apology. It was a request disguised as affection. I didn't respond. Then February arrived. And with it, the nuclear betrayal. A call from the bank. A loan application submitted under my name. My social security number. Their address. When the rep said, "We suspect identity fraud," my world tilted. I told Daniel. His expression hardened into something cold and protective. "You know what this means, right?"
He said.
This wasn't desperation. This was planned. I met with my lawyer the next morning. He flipped through the documents and said, "The signature on the loan doesn't match yours. This is financial identity forgery. You need to file a report immediately." Before I made anything official, I called my dad. He answered with a weary voice, as if I had wronged him. When I explained, he didn't deny it. He didn't apologize. He said, "Rachel needed help. You're the one who's always stable. We didn't think you'd mind." Not truly. That was it. That was the moment the final thread snapped. "Desperation doesn't justify betrayal," I said calmly. "You used my identity. You tried to put debt in my name. That's not what family does." I hung up. I filed the report. When I signed the paperwork, my signature was steady, clearer than it had ever been. By March, I thought it was over. Then, they showed up at my door. My parents stood there in the cold morning light, looking smaller than I remembered. Mom's voice cracked as she said, "We lost the house. The loan investigation. The fees. Rachel's savings are gone. We don't know what to do." Dad stared at the ground. I listened. Every word washed over me like rain on stone. When they finished, I said, "You had everything when you had my trust. You lost it because you believed I would tolerate anything." They didn't argue. They didn't beg. They just left. Rachel called an hour later. Her voice was soft, shaky.
She apologized. Said she missed me.
Said she wished things could go back. I replied, "I hope you learn from this." And hung up. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was clean. 6 months later, Daniel and I lived in a smaller house, sunlit, peaceful, ours. A family friend messaged me. My parents were living in a rented room on the edge of town. Rachel had quit her job. Everything had unraveled completely. I felt no satisfaction.
No gloating. No rebenque fue sril. Just calm.
The kind of calm that comes from choosing yourself after years of choosing everyone else. That night, I wrote in my journal, "Freedom costs nothing, and everything." Peace isn't loud. It isn't triumphant. It's simply the moment you stop apologizing for protecting yourself. A family built on guilt collapses. A family built on respect survives. Choosing yourself isn't selfish. It's maturity. If this story hit home, if you've ever been the responsible one, the overlooked one, the one who gave too much, hit like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. What's the hardest boundary you've ever had to set? Someone out there might need to hear your story too. Until next time, stay strong, choose yourself, and protect your peace.